We're here at one of our custom home builds in Cheval neighborhood in Mint Hill, North Carolina, and we're getting ready to talk about the whole wall system and why it is so important for your health. And so we're going to be diving into the 4 different control layers and how each of them is going to help benefit you as a homeowner. And it's often a detail that you're never going to see and you're not going to pay attention to, but it's one of the most important aspects of your home because it's the part that separates outside from inside and actually makes it a home. Now, it's not the most beautiful thing. It's just a wall. It's something you're not going to see. And why is that so important? Well, we're about to get into all of that. The wall system essentially has 4 main jobs, and that is to keep out the water, air, thermal, and then vapor. So we have 4 control layers that we have to keep in, and the one that clients most of the time are most concerned about is actually the 3rd most important, which would be the thermal. And the reason that is because you have a very quick response time to that. And so, you know, you leave the window open and it's a cold day outside and you get cold, that is a very quick response. Hey, my thermal envelope has gotten cold because I've left the window open. But the water and the air are actually more important because it's the part that actually destroys and kills your building. But let's talk about the thermal and how something that we do to make sure that your wall is 20% better than your standard built wall. So if you were to take all of this framing, the windows, the doors, and we were to put it in a linear fashion and then we move all of the framing to one side, all the windows and doors to one side, and then all the cavities to another side. For the framing, it's on an average wall, it's gonna take up about 18%. And here with a 2x6 exterior wall, that means on standard built, you're gonna get an R value of R6 just in the dimensional lumber. The cavity, this is where everybody talks about, oh, your wall system's R19, R19, R19. Well, that is your insulation right here. We're talking about right in this cavity. But remember, that's only 62% of your overall wall. Then your windows and doors, your traditional windows and doors, they're about an R3. They can go up to about an R7 in some of the best. The ones that we use are actually an R5. So we use continuous exterior insulation throughout the entire home. And it's so important that it's continuous because just like a chain, your thermal is going to drive through your weakest point. If so, the weak link in the chain, that's your worst part of your home. Our homes, we use on this one, it's Sierra Pacific H3 casements. So we have R5. On our cavity, we have R21 because we're gonna use an R19 bat compressed down to give us a grade 1 insulation, so it's gonna be like an R15. And then we have an R6 on the outside. And the reason that we do R6 on the outside, and it's so important in our climate zone here in Charlotte, North Carolina, is because where is the dew point? So let's pretend it's a nice, warm, hot day, which it is not today, and it's 100 degrees outside, and you have it nice, cool, 72 degrees inside. Well, where's that dew point? That dew point is somewhere probably in the low 80s. And where is it going to be 80 degrees? It's going to be inside your wall cavity. And so you're going to get moisture, you're going to get mold deformed because in every volume of air, there is moisture. So it's going to have to touch something. So we used to be a renovation contractor, and so often we would pull off the drywall, and on the back of the drywall, that paper face, or on the back side of the sheathing, or on the face of the insulation, if it is craft faced, you're going to see black spots, and that is actually mold right there in your wall cavity. But because we do R6, now the math checks out to R5.5, that's going to push that dew point on the outside most of the time here in the Carolinas. But getting back to our whole wall assembly here, our whole wall is actually 16.18, which is 20% better than the standard code-built wall system. And why, you know, basically the secret to a lot of building science is put as much insulation as you can on the outside continuously. That's the most bang for your buck that you can get. Appropriately size your mechanical systems and keep it tight. That is, if we were just to break down building science into very, very quick, broad strokes, those are the most important aspects. And the wall system is really the foundation where all that starts. I could have a perfectly placed HVAC system that is perfectly sized and designed for the home, but if the home is too leaky and the air's coming through and we're losing our thermal, then it doesn't matter. It's not gonna be able to keep up. So that's why making sure that we get through all these little details that we're gonna go through and we're gonna get nerdy about here in a little bit as this video continues That's why it is so important. This wall system really protects your home, and it's the start and it's the foundation of your comfort inside your home. We don't want you breathing that mold that's in there that we talked about that could be forming in your regular standard built wall system, that you're gonna get mold because you have moisture in that air. And if that moisture, if that dew point is inside this wall system right here, mold will form. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when and how much, and do you really want to be breathing that in? We do everything we can to push it on the outside so you don't have that mold growth inside of your home. Let's take a quick minute to talk about why is the R value actually important. It's the resistance of thermal moving through space and material. And so when we talk about the R value, what we're really saying is we're stopping hot from moving to cold. It's never the opposite way. It's always hot to cold. It's always high to low. That is the way that thermodynamics works. And so if it is hot outside and it's cool inside, what we're doing is we are stopping, we're resisting the hot from moving into the cold. When it is cold outside, we're resisting the hot from inside to going outside, escaping. And so when you open that window, you open that door and you say, ooh, I feel a cold chill coming in. It's actually, you're feeling the heat escaping away. It's not the cold chill that you're feeling, it's the heat escaping. You've just lost all of that heat. You open the door, you open the window, and you allowed it all to escape out. But with the R value, we're resisting that transfer of movement. And so when we have a continuous jacket that we've put that jacket on, we didn't cut strips that are 1.5 inches around us. And so we don't have a jacket that has all these little strips. We completely encapsulate it. We zip all of our zippers up. We get it nice and tight for us, nice and snug on your home. And when we do that, we feel warm inside. And it's just like your premium tumbler that you use for your morning coffee. It doesn't matter if you put a hot drink in there or a cold drink, it resists the movement of temperature loss in and out. And so we're doing the same thing with your home. And we want that completely encapsulated. That's why you put the lid on the tumbler and you close the top for when you want to keep it for that long time, because you know you're going to be busy for the next 30 minutes, but you want the temperature the same way. So you throw the tab so it's nice, closed, and sealed. We do essentially the same thing with the house. It's the same physics. We want that resist the transfer from hot to cold. And the best way to do that is with continuous exterior insulation. Let's go check out some of the materials we use and show you what it looks like on the outside. On the outside of the home, we use the Huber Zip R system. And so that gives your water barrier, air barrier, control layers all in one. So we put it together nice and tight, and then we're gonna come back with the Huber tape system and tape, and then we're gonna make sure to roll. We wanna make sure that we get those Z's in there, because when that tape goes in, it compresses and it's a nice form-fitted and makes a wonderful air barrier. And so we were talking about how, there's the 4 main control layers, but really the most important is your water barrier, and then second is your air. And the reason is because water is what destroys home. It's the rot, it's the mold, it's all of those things is driven by the water. Now in one of our previous videos, we talked about the rain screen. Well, that rain screen is going to apply right here, but we talked about how the siding is your bulk water management. Well, this is your fine water management. It is the last stop. This is water cannot get past our zip system. That is essentially what it's for. So when you have your rain screen and the water comes through and it hits here, it's just going to drain down. Now, once again, it'll be taped on all the seams. Make sure that we shingle the tape proper. And then we're going to put the Sega Fintrum along the bottom so we have a nice, clean detail all the way across the entire home to ensure that we have a watertight home. One of the wonderful things is we don't have to worry about, when somebody comes and puts up, does there a little nick in it and all that? It does not matter. The way that Huber makes the zip system is that the glue that binds the OSB together is waterproof. Now, so long as this nail is not overdriven into half of the OSB, is completely fine. And so these 2 little that are overdriven is not a big deal. It is within the tolerance that Huber does allow. Should we see one that is overdriven, we do use liquid flash, put it over, and so you'll just see a nice little black spot on it when it's ultimately finished. But by using this premium product, we can dry the home in without having the siding on, go ahead and start doing drywall work without having the siding on. We know that we can progress your home quicker than if we were using a more traditional house wrap type approach that would allow water to get through the home. So we talked about how the glue that binds all of the plywood together is actually a water barrier in of itself. We have the 1 inch of insulation, which gives us that R6 with the plywood. And then we have this green face that is our water and air control layer. And so by using this system, we're able to get all of our control layers in one singular product. And this allows us to, as long as we get this installed properly, we know that we have protected your home and ensured that we have taken care of all major problems that the water could cause on your home in this one singular product, and making sure that it is installed right. That's why getting these details is so critical, that we get it done properly and we check and inspect every single home. One of the things that we do to ensure that we have continuous insulation all the way around, but also that we're ready for whatever type of facade you're going to put on the outside, is we cut back the insulation tight right at the corner. So if you see right here how when we put this panel up, we then went back with an X-Acto knife and we cut that insulation back. So the insulation is inset a little bit, and that allows us, when we put our next panel up, that we're going to get the insulation continuous. And so it's going to fit in like a puzzle piece. And so here, I'll show you how it would go. Now this piece is smaller than the hole, but for demonstration purposes, we put it in, move it over, nail. And so then when it is nailed nice and tight, when we have our siding that's going to come right here, and we're going to have our trim piece, we have something solid to nail on. So we don't have a strip of insulation here that would cause the trim piece to bow and wiggle because it's not properly fastened. We make sure that we have an OSB to always shoot into to give the facade a nice strong backer. In our attic video, we talked about how our radiant barrier was also our air barrier for the environmental separator between outside and inside. In this home, it's going to be the same situation, but we haven't put our radiant barrier up yet because we're not quite there yet. But we have gone ahead and got ready for it. So with this right here that goes through the top plate and to the outside, we make a continuous air barrier from outside to inside. And this is how we do it, by going straight through the top plates. And so when the radiant barrier comes right here to the underside, and it'll be taped together. So when we come to the top side and the radiant barrier's here, it has a nice flush bed for our insulation to lay on. One of the many features that a lot of our homeowners want is lots of natural light, the ability to open up the wall and let outside and inside mix. We spend so much time, effort, and energy ensuring that we have even the smallest of details taken care of to prevent air from moving from the outside to the inside, that a lot of times, while we understand the desire for that, it's not the best for the indoor built environment, nor is it best for your health. So what we have done is we have put fixed panels, and we do have opening doors that allow you, when you want to be inside, you can be inside, but when you want to be outside, you are outside. And so this will be a 4 seasons room. We'll have a screen across here, and you'll be able to enjoy all the benefits of being outside. But during the majority of the time, when it's not too polleny, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, we're going to be inside, and we're going to keep inside inside and outside outside. And so that prevents the pollen from coming in. It prevents the heat and the thermal loss. And so we control our environment. We know exactly the air that you're breathing because we bring it in from outside, we filter it, and then we give it to you, versus just allowing it to freely flow back and forth. Side note, drastically cut down on your bugs, so you don't have to worry about killing as many spiders, mosquitoes inside your home. That's a win-win for everybody. So today we went over why it's really important to make sure that your wall system, which is the major component of the outside of your home, keeping the environment from outside to inside, and why that's so important. We make sure that we take care of the bulk water management and the fine water management. We make sure that we take care of the air movement through the wall system. We make sure that we take care of the thermal movement through the wall system. And we really didn't touch much on the moisture and the vapor going through the wall. And the main reason we didn't really get there is because we take care of the first three. The fourth by default is taken care of. And it's such also, if you really just take care of the first three, the fourth one gets taken care of by default. And so we focus so much on those three that we also know that all four different ways that we could have issues with your home, we're taking care of, and we know that we're giving you a better built home that will surpass any code built home. Make sure that your home is nice and healthy, that you're breathing good quality, clean air, and so that you don't miss as much time at work, your kids don't miss as much time at school, and that you feel better, live longer, and enjoy your life. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, follow our channel, Costner Building Group. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Bye.